Hello students, I am Miss Saida. I will be teaching you Science 2. So today we'll start with our chapter number 7, that is energy flow in an ecosystem. And this chapter covers following teaching points. First, food chain and food web. Second, energy pyramid. Third, biogeochemical cycles. And under biogeochemical cycles, we'll study carbon cycle, oxygen cycle and nitrogen cycle. So all three cycles we will study under biogeochemical cycles. So before coming to our main topics, let us revise the things. So first, what is ecosystem? See, ecosystem is an interaction between biotic and abiotic factors. So, biotic factors means all living things. It includes plants, animals and other microorganisms, including bacteria and fungi. And non-biotic factors includes non-living things like sun, rock, soil, etc. So there is an interaction, or it is a community of living organism interacting with each other and with their non-living environment. So it is a sort of interaction between biotic factor and abiotic factors. Now there are different types of ecosystems. Mainly ecosystems, they are divided into two: natural ecosystem and artificial ecosystem. Natural ecosystems again forms terrestrial ecosystem and aquatic ecosystems. While aquatic ecosystems is again of two types: freshwater ecosystem and marine water ecosystem. And artificial ecosystems, they are man-made ecosystems like land ecosystems and freshwater ecosystem. So we'll see one by one examples of ecosystem. See, grassland is one of the ecosystem, then forest is there, then desert is there, then again marine and freshwater ocean. Marine, that is ocean, and freshwater means lakes. So all these are natural terrestrial ecosystem. Terrestrial and aquatic both. An aquarium, or you can say crop field, the farmyard, all these are artificial man-made ecosystems. So the living organisms, mainly they are classified on their mode of nutrition, means based on their mode of nutrition. So they are mainly primary consumers, or you can say herbivores, carnivores, omnivores and decomposers. And the first comes producers. Producers are photosynthetic plants. Plants with chlorophyll pigments. They are green in color, so they can synthesize their own food. So mainly plants and algae comes under producers. And then second class is herbivores, then omnivores, carnivores and ultimately decomposers. So in this way, living organisms, they are classified on the basis of their mode of nutrition. Now there must be interaction between biotic and abiotic factors. Definitely there is interaction between biotic and abiotic factors. So producers, they are ultimate source of food and energy for other class of organisms, that is herbivores, carnivores and omnivores. Herbivores, they will eat green plants. Carnivores will eat herbivores, and omnivores will eat both herbivores and carnivores. And ultimately after death, they will be decomposed by decomposers. And this all happens in a non-living environment plus living environment. Means sun, soil, rock, all these are non-living. But there exists an interaction between both biotic and abiotic factors. So they are interrelated or dependent on each other. So when we see they are interrelated with each other, they need to be then classified on the basis of their levels, that is trophic levels. So these trophic levels of ecosystem, they are as follows. So first what comes? Producers. Then comes primary consumers. Then comes secondary consumers. Then tertiary consumers. Tertiary consumers, they are also called as apex consumers, or they are topmost consumers, and they are carnivores. Means they will depend on secondary consumers. Then comes omnivores, means mixed consumers. Omnivores, they will depend both on, or they will feed on herbivores as well as on carnivores. So first is producers. Producers are nothing but green plants and algae. So plants and algae, they are producers, and they make their own food by the process of photosynthesis. And these plants and algae, then they are eaten by consumers. So consumers are again of three types, that is primary consumers, secondary consumers and tertiary consumers. Consumers feed on producers. They feed on producers, that is the plant and algae. So like here rabbit, it is a herbivore. It is an example of herbivore. In case of primary consumers, we can say they eat only producers. Primary consumers are therefore herbivores and eat only green plants, that is producers. So examples can be grasshopper, squirrel, elephant, then zebra or giraffe. They are directly depend on autotrophs. Now what is autotrophs? Producers means plants are also called as autotrophs, means they can synthesize their own food, therefore they are called as autotrophs. Next comes secondary consumers. Secondary consumers are carnivores and they eat primary consumers. What they eat? They eat primary consumers, like example fox, frog, fish, owl. All these are secondary consumers. Next is tertiary consumers. Tertiary consumers, they are carnivores. Sometimes they are called as apex consumers, and they eat secondary consumers. In that, tiger, lion, etc. comes. So they are also called as topmost consumers. So no other animal feed on topmost consumers. No other animal feed on topmost consumer. Even human beings and beer, they comes under tertiary consumers. But sometimes they are called as mixed consumers. What they are called as? Mixed consumers. So human and beer, they are called as mixed consumers. So they feed on both herbivores and carnivores. Now last class is decomposers. Decomposers are fungi and bacteria. Means they are microbes. They are microorganisms. What they do? They feed on the remains of the living things. When living things becomes dead, they feed on them and they decomposes them into simple organic substances. So they are called as decomposers. So in this way, various trophic levels in the ecosystem, they are classified in the following manner. Now coming to food chain and food web. Now what is food chain? When one animal depend on other and next animal again depend on other in a particular sequence, so there is a definite sequence of interaction between animals, and this contributes to a food chain. So in an ecosystem, there are many food chains which are interacted. Simple food chain you can see from plants, or you can see plants, they are eaten up by small insects. Then these insects, they are eaten up by, here you can see frog I have given in this example. So this is a simple from plants to insect to frog. So plants are eaten up by butterfly, that is the insect, and insect is eaten up by the frog. And this frog is then eaten up by snake. And when the snake dies, it is then decomposed by bacteria and algae. So this is a simple food chain. So one animal is dependent on another in a food chain. Let us study another example. See grass. They are primary consumers, you can say producers. Then comes giraffe. Giraffe is primary consumer. It will feed on plants. Then, so this is a simple link, a simple food chain, how one animal is dependent on other. So then this giraffe is then eaten by lion, or giraffe becomes a food for the lion. Then when lion dies, this lion's dead body is decomposed by bacteria. So this is again an example of food chain. So in an ecosystem, number of such food chains are interacted at various lengths. So they are interacted at various levels, and then they form food web. What they form? Food web. So here a very simple example I have shown you. From the sun, solar energy is captured by green plants, and this green plants becomes food for the insects. Insects become food for the birds, and birds, that is the, you can say, vulture, or vulture. So then for vulture, this snake can be one of the food. So from the sun, solar energy is captured by the green plants. Then that becomes food for insects. Insects become food for smaller living organisms. Then those living organism becomes food for the higher living organism. So these are the few examples of food chain I've shown you here. So such food chains we can see many in the ecosystem, and they are interconnected with each other. So they form then food web. What they form? They form food web. So an organism may be prey for many other organisms. For example, an insect feeds upon leaves of various plants, but the same insect is prey for different animals like frog, wall lizard, and birds. So it forms an intricate web. Intricate means interconnected web instead of a linear food chain. And such intricate web is called as food web. So generally food webs are found everywhere in the nature. Everywhere in the nature. Now coming to trophic levels. See, each level in the food chain is called a trophic level. Each level in the food chain is called a trophic level. So a trophic level is the step at which the organism obtains its food in the form of chain, and the amount of matter and energy gradually decreases from lower producers, or you can say lower trophic levels, to the higher trophic levels. See, in this figure you can see producers are at the base, means they form the lowest trophic level. Then comes second trophic level of herbivores, means they are primary consumers. Then comes third trophic level, that is primary carnivores, means they are secondary consumers. So primary consumers will depend on plants, secondary consumers will depend on primary consumers, and the apex consumers, they are called as tertiary consumers. So these are trophic levels starting from the producer, that is the plants. So when we see food, or you can see the amount of matter, the food and the energy also gradually decreases from producers to the apex consumers. So energy transfer takes place at each trophic level. More energy will be there in producers as we go above, and as we cross each and every level, the energy will decrease, as well as the matter will go on decreasing, and even the number of living organisms also goes on decreasing. So the initial quantity of energy goes on decreasing in every level of energy exchange. Similarly, the number of organisms also decreases from the lowest level to the highest level. And this pattern of energy exchange from lowest producer to highest apex consumers in an ecosystem is called energy pyramid. What it is called? Energy pyramid. So this is a pattern of energy exchange in an ecosystem from producers to apex consumer. So as the food goes on decreasing from plants to apex consumer, energy also goes on decreasing. Here in the figure you can see where phytoplanktons, that is plants producers, are there, lots of energy is there. Then it is nearly 10,000 kilocal. It is nearly 10,000 kilocal. But as we go above each and every tropic level, next comes zooplanktons, where this energy will again decrease in the form of heat loss. Again, when we go in case of secondary consumers like snake, fish, then again this energy will go on decreasing. And again when we cross or we go to next level, that is the highest tropic apex level, again the energy is lost in the form of heat. So there is loss of energy from one tropic level to the next tropic level as we move from producers to apex consumer. So in this way there is a flow of energy from producers to consumers. See, in this pyramid you can see producers, they are having 100% energy. When primary consumers eat them, then the energy decreases to 10%. Then we come to secondary consumers, again the energy remains 1%. And when we reach top consumers, the energy is only 0.1%. So in this way, energy flow is unidirectional and it also decreases from producers to apex consumers. Now main points of this pyramid of energy. First, energy transfer takes place at each level, and in each level food chain is called topic level. Then energy exchange takes place in food chain and the amount of matter and energy gradually decreases from producers to top consumers. Again, then energy exchange in this pattern in an ecosystem is called pyramid of energy. So these are the points you need to remember. Now what is the role of decomposers? We have seen producers, primary consumers, secondary consumers and tertiary consumers. So what is the role of decomposers? First of all, fungi and bacteria or other microorganisms, they are called as decomposers. After death of apex consumers, their energy is available to the decomposers. Means their energy will be utilized by decomposers. Decomposers decompose the body of dead animals and then they obtain food from these dead bodies by converting them into simple carbon compounds. They convert them into simple carbon compounds, and these simple carbon compounds then they are easily mixing with air, water and soil. So they are absorbed again by plants and their energy is incorporated into food chain. Again their energy is incorporated into food chain. So this is the main role of decomposers. Now let's sum up today's lecture. What we have studied today. First of all, we have learned what is ecosystem. It is made up of biotic and abiotic factors, and we have seen how living organisms are classified. Then we have learned primary consumers, secondary consumers, tertiary consumers, then the role of decomposers and how these biotic and abiotic factors, they are linked together. Then what is food chain and what is food web. So ultimately we can say the sun is an ultimate source of energy in an ecosystem. All energy comes directly from the sun, which is taken up by producers. And producers are green photosynthetic plants and algae, which store some of solar energy in the form of food. And this energy is then passed from one tropic level to another and then reaches to decomposers. Then the decomposers releases some energy in the form of heat. But no part of energy reaches back to the sun. We are getting energy from the sun. Plants are getting energy from the sun. But no part of the energy reaches back to the sun. Thus, the flow of energy is one-way transport. What we can say? Flow of energy is one-way transport in an ecosystem. So this is all for today's lecture. I hope you have understood my teaching method and today's topic. So in next video, I will teach you the later part of this chapter, that is biogeochemical cycles. So this is all for today. Thank you children. Take care. Goodbye.